Okay, I think we've been waiting long enough, haven't we? Shall we get started? Boop. There is sadly no webcam today because I think it's taking offence at the fact that I tried to plug it into an extension USB cable. I'll get that sorted over the weekend. And everything seems to be okay. I do not hear any music. That would be because my headphones are in the wrong port. Now I hear music, and hopefully you do as well. Although you probably always did. So, shall we do it? Shall we make a level editor? Let's see if there's anything majorly more important that we need to be doing. But if not, I think we can make a level editor. I've just realised this light is just like right in my eyes. Let's try and move it down a bit. Actually, I don't need this light, I don't have a webcam. Go away. Right. So, let's boop that. Map rendering is causing lag. Borders missing on meta screens. Did we do that? We did that. And what else? Clear map and background between levels. We did that as well. Okay. Update the main map to set needs rendered and is darted as appropriate. Add terrain and remove terrain. Looks like that is working. Okay. Yeah, so everything's working there, except I need to work out why it's actually taking so long. But we can ignore that for now. So background layer, we're still going to ignore the background layer because it's going to be so much easier if we get a map editor on. Climber label, reskin brick tile, I'm going to leave that for now because that's also going to be a lot easier with a map editor. Lemming action animation frames, I just can't be bothered. Update brick placement code. This is absolutely fine. Grass is not greener. We fixed that one. So let's just update this one quickly. Okay, I'm doing this on my phone because I am not logged into my Stream GitHub, but my GitHub account in the browser I use for streaming. Right, so grass is not greener. we can close this one. And closed. What else? We need to add traps and map editor. Traps aren't important and will also be a lot easier with a map editor. So, how are we going to do this? Let's refresh this for now, and here we have somewhere to enter a level code. So that looks like it's a good place to start, right? Something I want to test out as well. When I do a build, does it start to drop frames? It does not seem like either of my computers is dropping frames now, which is excellent. I didn't expect the Stream PC to drop frames because that doesn't actually have any extra load whether I'm compiling or not. But it does look good. So what now? If I go to level code entry, what I'm thinking is we can do something like if level code dot starts with, okay, let's do a .2 uppercase on this. If it starts with edit colon, I believe I can put colon. I cannot. Okay. Is that just because it's not in the allowed words? So let's check our text. Letters, numbers, colon. We do have a colon. So in our index file, I think we put it because everything else broke if I didn't have it in there. Oh, the allowed characters are right there in the file I was just looking at. Uppercase, lowercase, numbers, spaces, and colon. So now we can rebuild. We have the technology. We can go to enter code and still no colon. Oh, it's because it's probably that JavaScript sending through the wrong thing, is it? Maybe. Good thing I didn't save this. So that's fine, but I'm willing to bet in our JavaScript we are also limiting it. Key down. Let's see what gets logged. That's odd. What is that even? So the shift key counts as an actual key press. That's interesting. Let's have a look at what this actually does. Returns a string created from the specified sequence of UTF-16 code units. It's only 1/17 of the total addressable Unicode points. The remaining ones in the range of 65536 to some long number are known as supplementary. Valid combination of two circuits is used to be... Yeah. Let's just search for our actual problem. On key down colon. In fact, let's do e.keycode. Let's log that as well and see what's being returned. So it's 186 for the semicolon and 186 as well for the colon. Doesn't seem to have the word shift here, and not modifiers either. That's a bit worrying. Key down and key up events are fired during IME composition. Yeah. Okay. So here it says e.code. So can we try that? Let's comment out this and add e.code there. Character is not defined. Oh. So this is shift left, and that's semicolon. Now can we get the actual modifier? Event.control key, event.shift key, I guess. It doesn't seem to list it here, but it might list it in here. Yeah, shift key. But that doesn't actually tell us anything useful. It does for the letters, but it doesn't for other characters. So let's see what other properties we have here. Okay, so .code is definitely not what we want. It says that it ignores the keyboard layout, it just looks at the... I don't even know what it's looking at. Okay, let's do .key. Let's see what that brings back. Hang on. Did that actually... No, I thought it said Control R on the same line, but obviously not. Ah, this gives us the colon. So that's what we wanted all along. So what happens if we change key down to key up? See, that gets rid of a lot of the events, and I think it works a lot better. Let's just finish changing this. It's always good to keep names accurate. So oh yeah, do we get spaces though? Yes, we do. Excellent. Switch to using key up and not that one. It's down here. What are we going? So we're doing it from switch to using key up and e dot key event property for better text entry. Allow colon on text entry. Now we are back here. So if it starts with edit, do something. Let should edit level. We can do this as a const. If should edit level, that means the level code itself has to be a let. Okay, just give me a second. My Fitbit seems to be playing around. Right, are you going to... No, you are not going to... maybe. Seems to be better now. It was flipping on and off charge. Okay, so we're just going to replace the fast instance of edit with an empty string. And then we're going to do something. The something we're going to do is going to be incredibly dependent on how we want our level editing to work. How do we want it to work? So we want different controls. In fact, let's start writing out what we want and what we don't want. So the controls we want are, we want it to have toggle layer button. Click on each tile to edit it. Must scroll like the full level. Text box to okay, I'm going to stop my Fitbit from charging because it is actually distracting me now. I'm guessing something is quite a bit loose in the connection, which is odd because I've got USB webcam issues as well, but this isn't plugged into my computer. So, where was we? Text box to enter tile. Text box to enter animation frames. Text box to enter color. I think that should be it for now. Toggle layer button is going to be toggle between editing the map and background. So let's just copy this into our issue, except I can't do that because I'm not logged in. Just a second. Luckily I have another window which doesn't show on stream. And boop. Better. So, what next? What next indeed? What else do we want it to have? So, take the map from the okay, so we're going to have to store maps in a different place because we can't edit the TypeScript file. Store maps in their own directory as, let's just say for now, a JSON file. Who needs performance? Now, here's an interesting thing. Can we read and write from Webassembly? We can probably read, maybe, because we import different files. I'm assuming when it all compiles together, those files that get imported as JavaScript modules then get included in as content somewhere. Assembly script write file. So, WebAssembly by example. Install assembly script, initialize CD. So what is Ascii? A high-level assembly script layer for WebAssembly system interface. An API for providing access to an external world to WebAssembly modules. I suppose it's a low-level WASI standard set of system calls. Ascii builds a higher level API on top of the assembly script interface. So it sounds like we can do what we want using assembly script without installing this library. File system console, environment variables, date, random time. So let's have a peek at how they do that. Class file system. Open, make directory exists, link, symlink, unlink, move stat, allstat, rename, read. Okay, so I guess open is what we need. So here is all of the modes, so we only need very simple ones. Maybe read for reading it and write for writing it. We might not even need read if we can get away with getting assembly script to compile them for us. So, right. Flags dot create and trunk. Are all of these 5 letters? Write, seek, tell, get, create file. So here we have path open. I think that's going to be useful to us. Import all of these from bindings/WASI. Okay. Bindings.json. So path open. Okay. Bindings, is that a package they've imported. Package JSON, dev dependencies, assembly script, concat, rimraf, typedoc. No, okay. So I'm guessing bindings is part of Webassembly or assembly script. Yeah, I guess ASWASI is what I'm looking at. So let's do something really very simple. Well, I say simple. Probably not simple. I am going to assume this will get extremely complicated very, very quickly. So, new folder called fs. New file called write. Should be write.ts. Let's just copy all of this and take out what we don't need. Copy, please. Okay, so what is directory FD for, I guess directory file descriptor for path? I think my keyboard is just very slightly out of alignment, so I'm using the wrong button. Return 3. Okay. This is either going to make it a lot more simple, or it's proof that the library isn't complete. Now, how do I tell it that I only want whole words? Okay, so let's just say it equals 3. And in fact, we can go down here and put in 3. Now let's import path open from bindings. There's bindings, and there's WASI. So lookup flags, I don't particularly care about symlinks, so that's going to be a 0. I'm assuming 0 is nothing. Let's see what O flags is. O flags comes out of here as well. And we will actually call this function write create and truncate. So we'll keep these because I'm guessing they're actually important. So that can go. Right. I'm guessing that comes out of here as well. Let's put this alphabetically. Write seek tell get and create file. So flags and writes are done, so we can get rid of basically all of this. And we can get rid of this. So we have path, and we want content string. So FD flags, I guess we don't need, so this can go and become 0. Those I'll keep because I have no idea what they're doing. I'm guessing there's some kind of spec I can look at to get all of this, but if it works, it's going to work. Memory.data 8. File descriptor buffer. Okay. And let's find descriptor here. So standard input, standard output, standard error 012, so I guess a file is 3. Change type descriptor. raw file descriptor. So change type, does that come from up here? No, it does not. So I don't think there's a good way to actually find this except by looking through all of them. Since it doesn't have this dot, I'm guessing it's outside of the class. Somewhere out of the class? Unless it's part of the global standard library thing. Change type. Changes the type of any value of usize kind to another one of usize kind, useful for casting class instances to their pointer values and vice versa. Beware, this is unsafe. Fun. Okay. So we have the descriptor. It has a constructor and it returns something, which is interesting. Return change type FD this. Return change type descriptor or FD. Hint at how the data accessible by the descriptor will be used. Pre-allocate data. Wait for the data to be written. So let's go here and see how it's used. File system.open. File equals change type descriptor. File.write string line. So it encodes the string, gets the length, store. So it does use the raw file descriptor. Okay. So let's copy this into our code. So encode the content. Oh, hang on, here's write string, which doesn't do a new line, and it looks much simpler. So let's see what the difference between the two is. So we have this one, which does the same thing. That does the same thing. That's memory.data16 for some reason instead of 32. Those two do the same thing. And line feed. So all of that is line feed type stuff. So that goes there. So, it encodes the content, gets the length, IOV. I don't know what IOV is. So that creates a memory data of size 16. Is it 16 bytes? So then we change the type of this to a U size. We store IOV to memory. And then we store, okay, so this one has two arguments, the pointer to the memory and so the pointer and the value to store. So it stores the buffer into IOV, and then it stores right. It stores the length to it as well, with an offset of usize. Well, we'll see if it works. I don't quite know what written pointer is. So we get the file descriptor of the file we've just opened. IOV, which is the pointer to the data that we want to write. The number of them that we want to write. Nwritten. Don't quite know what nwritten is, but we're going to assume that if all that happens, it's going to work. So in here, I don't want 50, right? I need to export this, don't I? And save the file. This will be interesting. Where exactly will it save to? We are going to do that and then return and see it crash. Does not like something. Why is he snapshot preview 1 module is not an object or function? Copy. Solution. There's nothing wrong with my code, but the way I was compiling it, instead of using that, I should have used that. So, -01. Okay, so that's compiling it using C++ or EM++. Let's see, because these use build. Okay, let's open up our own build file. Package.json. Ascii assembly index.ts -b build index.t runtime half. Please note we are using runtime half compilers flagged to specify a runtime tag. Okay. Let's add some helpful npm scripts. See if runtime half is what I need. It might be that this only works if we're not running it in a browser, which is going to be annoying. Runtime half not found. Okay. Let's close some of these down. You can see examples by searching Quasi. There is no WASI in the first page. It looks like everything's on the first page. This is very odd. Well, not odd so much, just frustrating. So outside of browsers, let's have a look for assembly script is a strict variant of TypeScript, which is natively compiled to WebAssembly as opposed to TypeScript, which is transpiled to JavaScript. This means that users can create modules by writing with a familiar language. Note that most likely you will not be able to simply compile your you won't be able to compile your libraries there. Check out the assembly script doesn't have native WASI support yet. This is why we are going to use a library that offers the API layer ASWASI. So the user-bought flag is used to explicitly bind the assembly script abort function to the one provided by the runtime. There's a bug. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to look. Is there any? No, there's no more references to browser on this page. And yeah, so this is how we run it using Node. So looks like that was a bit of a rabbit hole. Wasm browser file system. File system access API. Check out the code. It provides WASI binding implementation that proxies any file system requests to a real host file system. This allows apps built in languages like C, C++, Rust, and others to be compiled to WebAssembly and work as usual within a browser sandbox, accessing and manipulating files in a real world. Since WASI APIs are synchronous in nature, async-defy is used to bridge the two types of APIs together. Okay, so let's have a look at the source. So open directory, we don't really want that. Open file. Constructor, path, string, handle, file system, handle. This dot handle dot get file. This dot handle dot create writable. Okay, let's see if there's any examples. Don't really want a video right now. So let's see if there is something in these tests, maybe. Write file test. Oh, it's WASM, so that's not going to be good. The ULA. Oh, because it's in the WASM folder. Of course it is. Writefile.c. Okay, I don't think... Like, this looks like it's just using C to write it. That's not the kind of test I need, really. So, final folder, and that's just Webassembly compiled as well. So anything else of use? So this opens style sheet, some scripts. This has a table, a button, and a script. Let's have a look at package.json. Build is just TypeScript build. Local echo xterm. Yeah. So here's my problem. Open file needs a file system handle passed into it. The file system handle seems to do all of the work. Where does file system handle come from? More importantly, where is the search button? Do I have to be logged into search? And that returned the exact same results. It's literally not referenced anywhere else. I mean, I've spent most of this session looking at this, and there is actually a very simple way of doing it, not one that I wanted to do, but I can just pass it through to JavaScript, because that is a thing I can do. And it might be the best thing I can do right now, because this, if it has anything useful in it, I can't find it. Okay, yeah, let's go the JavaScript route. Download. Browser compatibility, Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Opera, not Safari, not Firefox for Android. And now it says, oh right, allow HTTP errors is just a Firefox thing. body is supported by everything, but all I want is download, I think. Working with files. Your browser extension. I don't want it to be an extension. Was this actually extensions? Table of contents. Yeah, web extensions, that's not what I want. Extensions, web API, file API, using the file API, it is now possible for web content to ask the user to select local files and read the contents. If you want to use the DOM file API from extensions other than browser Chrome code or other browser Chrome code, you can. However, note there are some additional features to be aware of. This is all getting things, not loading. So, invisible iframe. (2019) modern browser approach. Here's what I want. I've used codes like this before. So, fetch the content, turn it into a blob, create an object URL from the blob. I can probably do that from a string. Okay, let's copy this. It even has oh no, it's rather suitable. Okay, so we can get rid of the entire FS stuff because that doesn't work. So back to JavaScript. This JavaScript file, I was about to say it's getting big, but it's only about 100 lines. It's a bit big, but we can still add stuff, I guess. So, name and content. We don't need to do the fetch stuff. So URL dot. It actually gives us some proper IntelliSense. So we get create object URL or revoke object URL. So let's try just passing in the content string. A.download equals name. Without the quotes. And let's just give it a test. Rebuild all of that. I don't know when we last did it, so it might be good. Failed to. Okay, so looks like it doesn't like creating an object URL from a string. Create object URL. Creates a DOM string containing the URL of representing the object given in the parameter. So string to blob. Blog. No, not quite blog. I created a blob from a string. Worth a try. No, I don't want to use Visual Studio to open a JSON file. Visual Studio Code. That seems to work. Okay. It didn't ask me where I wanted to download it, but I can live with that for now, I think. I can always change my browser settings. I kind of wish there was an official API. I know you can do all sorts with the web API, but for now we have spent like over an hour and a half and we haven't got as far as we need to. I really wish I'd done this before. Like, just started off with this, but I really want to keep as much of this in Webassembly as possible, and I really wanted to find a solution, but I was assuming that there would be a part of the web API which says you can ask the user if you want to save files. I guess maybe that's seen as too dangerous for the web. Let's have a look. That's the C# web API. Read, write and file management capabilities. Okay, so file system handle, that's where that comes from. It's a draft. Interfaces examples. Get file. Directories, writing files. Create a new handle. So let's try this out. So create writable, I'm guessing maybe somewhere here we can have a file name. Maybe part of the blob. Endings, no, it's part of the blob. It's not part of the write method. Show open file picker. So I'm guessing we get picker options in show open or show save file picker as well. Write data, write type position data, write type seek position. Nothing's easy, is it? Options. Exclude accept all option. An array of allowed file types to save, so we have arguments, background, click, target, content, dimensions, download, enable call, game mode. Don't know that these are actually useful. Types. Let's just steal this quickly. So description, JSON file, accept application slash JSON. JSON, and here I guess we change this to application slash JSON and see if that works. So there we pass in the options. It doesn't look like apparently this isn't compatible with Firefox. I'm guessing since this is the Mozilla site that's actually pretty accurate, but we're loading it in Chrome anyway. Okay, so that returns a file system handle, create writable, keep existing data. Returns a write stream. How is it that I'm not allowed to specify a default name? Let's have a look at Blob. Size and type, array buffer slice stream text. So the blob can't give its name. Hello, Matty Two Shoes. Sorry I didn't notice you before. It's going fairly well, I think. We are currently trying to use JavaScript to download a file, which we should have working. I'm just trying to find out how to give it a name as we do it. So we've got the handle, we've got the writable, but I can't see anywhere that lets us give it a name. How to provide a default file name. Support as of Chrome 91. Suggested name. There we go. All hail the Google. So if we say want to save the file as just create a quick JSON string here. Okay, so we need some kind of click event. So I guess we can do something like that, maybe. Here we go. Didn't have the suggested file name. We have our foobar.json and it has its content in. What version of Chrome do I actually have? Version 90, which is why it didn't have it, because I think it said 91. Yeah. And it is currently downloading an update. Exciting. Okay, so we can assume that sometime in the future that will actually work. Wonder if this is actually downloading Chrome 91. Let's hit relaunch. Let's see what version we get. Chrome 91. Perfect. When was this actually added? April 13th. I'm not logged in. Okay. So now, if we refresh, click, it has the name. Okay, this is getting a bit more interesting. So I much prefer that. Now, how do we get this to do it? The easiest way would just be to have a button in the browser which then goes and gets the content from Webassembly. But I'm trying to think if there's a way to efficiently do it outside of that. So let's make some notes. Use the file API to save a file. So Webassembly tells JavaScript when it's editing a file. For every click, call into Webassembly to see whether the download button was clicked. If so, save the file. So we need to do some async type stuff here. So when we click, we post a message to say it's been clicked. So message response is undefined. We want to pass it cancel instruction and content. Actually, we don't need instruction, we just need cancel and content. So when we receive a message, I'm going to restructure this. Finally got to the point where it annoyed me so much that I'm getting something done. course, this could be procrastinating. Probably is procrastinating. But there's just too much here. Too many alternate instructions. And the default. And I'll put break in. It's not needed, but it keeps things symmetrical. So, message response. Is that really the best name for it? We'll keep going and we can rename it another time, I think. You can go away. So, message response callback. Yeah, let's run with it. So we want a new instruction. Message response. And a new case. Oh, actually, we also need is loading. No, is editing. So just here, I think. And we can do let is editing map equals false. Is editing map equals data dot is editing. And then case message response. if message response callback type of message response callback is a function, message response callback with cancel false and content e.data content. And then we can do function set message response callback. And here if the message response callback is already set, we are going to call it with cancel. And content is just going to be an empty string. And then we are going to set it. So the idea here is when we click, is editing map. Set message response callback. Now here's the tricky thing. We kind of need a way to cancel callback because we don't want it to run except the first time. But that's easy enough to do. So if data dot, is it cancel or cancelled? Cancel. If it's been told to cancel, then we're just going to return, else set message response callback to undefined, and that removes the callback. If it's been cancelled, then we can assume that something else is setting a callback. I'm editing in the diff view again. That's not good. So if data.content length is more than 0, if we have content to display, then save file. We kind of need a name as well, so data.name, data.content. And we are also going to do, actually we don't need to do isEditingMap because it knows that. We might not actually need it to tell it if it's editing or not. But we'll keep those here for now. Right, let's go into this and do the extra bits. I am not sure. Well, I think I've just been streaming a little too long. I know exactly what I need to do. It's just actually doing it. So we've got our name in there. Let's open up our up here. Where should we have the index? I wonder if I can do something like do subfolders. Editing map. I think I can pass integers through. Yeah, we've got time taken. do something like this. Post message. Instruction is editing, I guess. Is that what we called it? Is editing, yeah. So that's a simple enough one to do there, and then RESPOSNE message response pullback. Spell it right. So I also want in the loop I really need to find a better name for this, but my brain is not exactly working. So for message response, what we need is another parameter, which is save button clicked. If save button clicked, post message with instruction message response name it's going to get the string of the name pointer, and content is going to do the same with the content pointer. So level code we want to define or declare hopefully I can here do that. Then I guess in guess in the edit screen as soon as we exit. When exiting the edit screen, this needs to be reset. Okay, I think I'm going to have to leave it there. It's getting very late and I'm not thinking straight. And it's getting hard to talk. But I would like to thank you very much for watching. I know we didn't get much done, but I think we really laid the groundwork to get into it properly tomorrow. Check out the Discord link in my Twitch header, because I'll probably be posting thoughts on this in there and maybe talk a bit about the streaming setup I've just done to help improve my frame rates when I'm compiling code, and loads of other stuff maybe. But wherever you are in the world, whatever you are going on to do for the rest of the day, have a good one. Catch you later.